Hey, this is Steven, and I'm with Charlie and Molly Meeker here at Meeker Winery in lovely downtown Geyserville. Today we're going to talk a little bit about screw caps versus corks and why the Meekers are really trying to move their wines to the screw cap versus the traditional cork. So let's see what they have to say.
We have been making more and more of our wines using screw cap closures, and the more we make them, the more we like them. And I think really for one reason, which is cork taint. As a winemaker, you know that if you get a bottle that's cork taint that's really bad, everyone knows it. Ah, it's cork taint. But there are, of wines that are cork tainted, 90% of them, 80% of them aren't really bad. Wet dog or wrapped with wet newspaper inside a closed telephone booth.
Okay.
You know, but I mean, it can take on many, but it's really bad. And it's in the aroma mainly, but aroma is a large part of the enjoyment of wine. And it's caused by a fungus that grows on the outside of the cork bark of a cork oak tree, you know, over its 10 or 20 years of life of that bark. And there's a byproduct called 2,4,6-trichloroanisole.
Also known as TCA.
TCA. Oh, okay. And if the piece of cork bark is made into cork with that, and then comes in contact with the wine, it causes, the first thing it causes is a loss of aroma of the wine. Then it starts, once you get past that, it starts causing worse and worse and worse, more unpleasant odors. The biggest problem I have is Molly and I did an event, a big charity event last year. And we opened 41 bottles of our Four Kings, which is one of our best wines. And you know something, 3 of those bottles didn't smell bad, but they had no aroma at all.
They were
now I know that's a small amount of cork taint. But if you're a normal consumer who doesn't know the wine like I know it, because I get to drink it all the time, you're going to think, boy, this wine doesn't have any aroma. That's not very attractive. And I think that there are a lot of people that can detect, you know, if they get a really badly corked bottle, then they say, otherwise, I think there's a lot of people that say, this wine isn't very good. Meeker doesn't make good wine. Well, that drives me crazy. And you avoid that with screw caps.
Unfortunately, there's still pushback, especially from restaurants,
about
for
the romance of popping up.
Yeah, because they want to hear, you know, they don't want, you know, when a guy's paying $7,500 for a bottle of wine in a restaurant, he doesn't want a screw cap on it. There's no romance.
When they're pouring by the glass, love a screw cap.
They love the screw cap because the corks
with.
break when they have to go in and out frequently.
And the other thing that people have been negative about screw caps unfairly is they say, oh, well, a cork over 10-year aging lets wine breathe. Most of the screw caps, in fact, all the screw caps we use for our reds, there's a certain amount of oxygen passage because screw caps, even though they're metal, most of them have a plastic liner. Cerenex is the most common one, which does allow a certain amount of breathing. So far as I know, there is no study yet that has demonstrated that with the proper kind of Cerenex screw cap, you're not getting pretty much exactly the same effect. I mean, I would go to screw caps on everything we make if we didn't get such a pushback from restaurants.
He always says is if the French people 500 years ago had had a better idea than a cork, they would have used it.
More than 500 years
Whatever.
ago.
However many, the point is that if they had an alternative that wouldn't damage
we'd all be using screw caps.
We'd have been using screw caps 1,000 years ago.
Great.